They said rooting cuttings takes patience, weeks of waiting, sometimes months. And even then, half of them rot before a single root shows up. But what if I told you I poured a simple homemade mix on my cuttings and saw roots form in days, not weeks? This wasn't a store-bought powder or a fancy lab-made gel. It was something I made in my kitchen with everyday ingredients. And the results were so dramatic it completely changed the way I propagate plants. Today, I'm sharing that exact method with you step by step so you can try it at home and watch your cuttings take off like never before. If you've ever tried to propagate a plant and failed, you know the frustration. The stem looks healthy at first, but after a week the leaves droop, the cut end turns mushy, days turn into weeks and still no roots. You're left staring at an empty jar of water, wondering what went wrong. The truth is, cuttings don't fail because of lack of love. They fail because they lack the right support system. They don't have the natural hormones they need to push out roots quickly. They're also highly vulnerable to fungal infections that set in before roots can even begin to grow. That combination, slow rooting and high risk of rot, is why so many home growers lose their cuttings. What if I told you the solution is sitting right in your kitchen and garden? No chemicals, no expensive rooting gels, just natural ingredients blended into one powerful mix. I call it my rooting brew. It's a simple combination of honey, aloe vera, cinnamon, and if you have access to it, willow water. Each one of these ingredients brings something special to the table. Honey acts as a natural antifungal shield and gives cuttings enzymes that support root growth. Aloe vera is loaded with vitamins, minerals, and most importantly, natural plant hormones called auxins that stimulate root production. Cinnamon works as a protector, stopping rot and fungus before it even begins. Willow water, made by soaking young willow stems, contains salicylic acid and indolebutyric acid, two compounds that plants naturally use to grow roots faster. Put them together, and you've got a rooting powerhouse that no plain jar of water can compete with. Here's the exact formula I used, down to the teaspoon so you can replicate this at home without guessing. 2 cups of warm water, about 500 milliliters. 1 tablespoon of raw honey. 2 tablespoons of fresh aloe vera gel. Half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Optional. 1 cup of willow water, if available, replacing half of the plain water. Start by dissolving the honey in warm water. Blend in the aloe gel until smooth. Stir in the cinnamon, and if you've made willow water, use it in place of some of the plain water for an even stronger effect. If you want the liquid smooth, strain it before use. Store your brew in the refrigerator and use it within a week for best results. That's it. No complicated steps, no expensive chemicals, just a simple natural formula. Now, this isn't just about dipping and forgetting. Application really does matter. For soft stem cuttings like pothos, coleus, or basil, all you need is a quick dip in the brew before placing them in water or soil. You can also, add a splash of the brew directly into the water jar. This way, the roots stay in contact with the solution as they develop. For woody cuttings like rosemary, hibiscus, or roses, you'll want to give them a bit more time. Go ahead and soak the base of the cutting in the brew for 1 to 2 hours before planting in moist soil. Semi-hardwood cuttings, well, they benefit from a dip followed by a light dusting of cinnamon before potting. Each approach gives the cutting exactly what it needs, right when it needs it to really maximize root formation. Now here's where it gets exciting. I tested this brew against plain water with identical cuttings. After 1 week, the plain water cuttings looked pretty much the same as day 1. But the cuttings treated with the brew already had little white nubs starting to push out. By week 2, the difference was just undeniable. The brew cuttings had multiple strong roots, thick and branching, while the plain water group had at best 1 or 2 thin, fragile roots. When transplanted, the home-brewed cuttings settled into soil quickly, while the plain water ones really struggled to adapt. The brew not only sped up the whole process, but also built stronger root systems right from the start. Faster rooting is just the beginning. When a plant starts its life with a strong root system, everything that follows is better. Roots are the lifeline of any plant, pulling in water and nutrients that feed every new leaf. Strong roots mean lush foliage, faster growth, and greater resilience to stress. I noticed that plants started with this brew didn't just survive, they thrived. They handled transplant shock better, resisted disease, and grew into healthier, fuller specimens. If you're someone who loves sharing cuttings with friends or even selling propagated plants, this method could double your success rate and give your plants a professional edge. A recipe alone won't guarantee results. You've got to create the right environment. Always use fresh brew. Don't let it sit around for weeks and expect the same magic. If you're rooting in water, change the water every few days to keep it fresh. Don't oversoak cuttings, especially soft stems, or they may soften too much. And remember, even with the best brew, your cuttings need warmth and indirect light to encourage growth. Treat them like baby plants, and they'll reward you with explosive roots. This method changed the way I propagate forever, and I know it can do the same for you. Whether you're a beginner just dipping your toes into plant propagation or an experienced gardener looking for a better success rate, this simple homemade brew is worth trying. The ingredients are easy to find, the steps are simple, and the results speak for themselves. Give it a try and let me know what you see. Did your cuttings root faster? Did the roots look stronger? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear your results. And if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe and share this video with a fellow gardener who could use a little rooting magic. At Timeless Crops Haven, we're all about simple, powerful gardening hacks that make growing easier, faster, and more rewarding. Stick around because in the next video, I'll be testing another natural method that might just replace fertilizer in your garden. You won't want to miss it.